Dobrý den, привет. And that's pretty much all I know right now in Russian because I'm learning it for like a week. So I'll be talking in English. If you think that I'm talking too fast, please just raise your hand, tell me. I tend to speak too fast, so please just slow me down. I want to welcome you on my presentation about what you as a developer can do when IBM Cloud and what you can do with it and what could be the value for you. So, let me please introduce myself. I'm from Czech Republic. I am working in an innovation lab that IBM has there, and I'm a developer and I'm mostly focusing on mobile development. And I spent some time in Silicon Valley. It was fun. What I want to talk about today are two things. First one is IoT, Internet of Things, and the second one is mobile development. And I want to start with IoT. What you can see today that IoT is a huge trend. I think I don't have to say that much loud, but nowadays there are 15 billion connected devices to Internet. If we think about it, that there's 7 billion people on a planet, there's more than 2 devices per person on the whole planet, and the trend is kind of very big because in the next 5 years that should be 40 billion. Whoops, my microphone is not working. Mikrofon nerábota. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Good. Yeah, thank you. So there should be 40 billion connected devices to internet at the year 2020. I think that it's very much a lot of devices, and there should be something that you as a developer should be able to control it, work with it somehow. And what you can see on the left is a small tutorial that oops, not working there anyway. What I wrote, so if you want to see it, it's how to connect your smartwatches to the IBM Cloud. Next thing I want to talk about is like how this all works with the cloud. So if you take devices like, for instance, a drone or smartwatches or I don't know Arduino or anything like that, and it's able to connect to internet, you can basically call it Internet of Things device. That's just everybody's talking how to make a definition. I think this is pretty much what you can talk about, what you can see. And I want to ask you after the end of presentation just to go with me right there because I want to show you a quick demonstration with the drone. I was not able to fly it here. I wasn't allowed, so I'll show you afterwards the demo that I have prepared for you. So we take the device and you connect it over MQTT protocol to IBM Internet of Things Foundation. MQTT protocol is a lightweight protocol which was developed for communication over the satellite to an oil rig in Alaska. And I think it was something like 1970s, or it's kind of like a long time ago. And it was done for places where your connection is not that good, and it actually perfectly suits the the IoT as some small device with some bad Wi-Fi connection, and that's also why I have the drone there, because it was developed for the communication via satellite. Then it's connected to Internet of Things Foundation, which is IBM Cloud for securing and working with the devices. You can manage them, and also it has a lot of APIs for you to be able to access devices and the data. And there is also one API for IBM Bluemix, which is a platform I want to talk in the later time of the presentation, but pretty much anything that I will be talking about is about that platform. So yes, then the demonstration will be afterwards. Next thing I want to talk about is I will be switching to more of a mobile development point of view, and I want to go a few years back when I was in university, and I was doing my bachelor's thesis, the final thing that you do when you're doing your bachelor's, and I was building a small Android application, and I was connecting to the internet and working with one database. In that thing, I spent a lot of time about the integration, about the connection to the database, because I was like looking where should I host it, what type of database it should be. So I found some web hosting. I found out they only work with PHP. I've never seen PHP before, so I just learned PHP in like 3 days because of that. The database had actually the console had an online console. I was accessing the PHP layer over FTP, so it was all scattered. I had like several types where I had to connect, what I had to work with. It was scattered. If I think about security, pretty much anyone could hack it. It was not secure. I was glad that I had it working, and by that time I didn't even consider security as a thing that actually should be considered. And if I wanted to scale it, well, there was no way how to scale that solution. But they gave me they gave me one, and I was glad for it. So that was good for me. But if I take it from a developer point of view, if I'm working in some company or having my startup, security and scalability should be the things that I should actually take much more care about. And now I know how to fix it. If I would know what I know right now, a few years ago, the development of the platform would be, of the application would be so much faster. I spent more than a week actually setting the whole thing up. And I want to show you today how I would be able to set it up in 3 minutes. It kind of takes the time of the setup kind of very much down. And I was able to fix that I would be able to fix that with Bluemix. And what actually Bluemix is, it's IBM's cloud platform as a service. So what you can do with that, just very quickly, you can build an application on this platform. You can build it on like Java, JavaScript, PHP, Ruby, pretty much any language you will think about. Like there's, I think, 30 plus languages you can do it in, even in crazy languages like Scala, or I think even C++ is there, which I wouldn't make a web application in, but anyway. Then you can connect to those applications services. There is right now 100 plus services. There are databases, there is stuff for big data, analytics, and also for mobile, which I'll get afterwards. There is the service for Internet of Things, and I think you as a developer will pretty much find yourself in some combinations of it. Of course, there's too many services to actually use them, I think, in all of them and all the time. Then, who knows what is Docker? Docker image, Docker container? Please raise your hand. Oh, good. So much more people than I'm used to. Awesome, like it. So, just for the rest of the people, if you take a virtual machine, you have the all running operating system, and that's like, it could be like a few gigabytes. It could be like I've seen images like big as 40 gigabytes of data. It's way too much data if you want to run some few applications on it. With a Docker image, you can have the virtualized program. So if you want to have a database that needs to have some setup, you can build the application in the Docker container, do all the setup, and distribute it as this image. That's one of the examples how I would use it. So you're able to run those containers also on Bluemix. You can do a lot of scaling with them, and you can give them public IP addresses, kind of a lot of stuff. And there are also those virtual images I was talking before. You can also run them there. So that's just pretty much what you can do with it. But I think you will see much more if you go into the platform and see it for yourself. So we are in a mobile developer conference. So I want to kind of talk about what you can do as a mobile developer. With the mobile application security service, you can turn your Node.js application and a mobile backend in a matter of seconds. You just add this service to it, and it turns into a mobile backend. How you can use it? There are SDKs for it for iOS. Well, we're in an Android conference, so we don't care that much about iOS, right? Then there is also for Android and for hybrid applications. You can actually initialize this SDK with one line of code, and you have your application connected to your backend. Of course, you need internet connection for that. Then you can see pretty much just basic analytics. So what people came to the platform, how many, what type of device. Just the analytics you as an administrator, you want to see how many people are using your backend. And of course, it's for security, so it blocks unwanted access. So if anyone wants to access it, they have to know what credentials you have there. Then there is mobile data. Mobile data has NoSQL database, optimized for mobile usage, and you can use it right from the code. If you have the first service, the security one, and you can define data items directly in the code. I worked with the database directly from the code, which if I knew that when I was doing my bachelor's, it would save me so many nights of development, a lot of them. Then push notifications. Whoever from you was developing push notifications. Even better, awesome. Developers, I love this place. I tried to do it once myself on my own server, and it was a pain. It was a real pain. I will never ever do it again. Never. With this service, with push notification service, you actually, if we're talking about Android, you will create Google Cloud project. You will take the project number and you will open the API for push notifications. You will take those two information, input it into this service, and it just starts working. So you can have it pretty much in 5 minutes, I would say. In 5 minutes you can have it implemented and you can be working with that. Also, at this point, I want to stop with how also you can work with it, because every service and every runtime has its what you can be having running for free in the application. For instance, push notifications, you can have 1 million free push notifications per month. I think this should be a big application. Well, not that big, but not small. Application to consume it, the whole million push notifications. If you divide it by number of users, you will see how much you need. But if you need one additional million push notifications, you just pay $20. So if you compare it to the time of the development, what you would pay to the developer just to develop it, the solution on its own, versus just renting it like this, I think it's kind of worth the time, at least from my point of view as a developer. Then there is Kinetize. It's a Polish startup. They won one IBM competition 1 year ago, and you can build a hybrid application online in a browser by drag and dropping. Well, for prototyping, I would use it for prototyping, but to be honest, it really works. But if you want to have some additional functionality in your application, I would just build it on my own. I wouldn't go for it. But for prototyping and just having your application very fast done, you can try that. Then I'm skipping the iOS stuff because we don't care about it right now. That's pretty much the same that you can do with the other ones. And there is a Cloud and NoSQL database, working pretty good, which you can also connect to it, to the application. There's also Twilio. Twilio is a service to help you with sending SMS, making calls, even video calls directly from your application. Very cool, works not bad. Then there is a mobile quality assurance. This service will help you with two types of work you will do. First, for production, it will help you to get sentiment analysis from Google Play and also get feedback from users. They will just take their phone, shake it, and the screen will appear. They will just write a feedback, send it back. But you can also use it for testing. For testing, you can distribute the APK over the air. So you will just input the emails of the developers. They will receive an email. They will download the application. Well, of course, they will run it. Then if they see something, I don't know, something in the application, for instance, a bug, they can also shake the phone. It creates a screenshot. You can draw with your finger on it. You can write something that, hey, this is wrong, fix it, sends it to the server, and immediately on a server you can see in a console what that user just did. Also, if your application crashes, you as a developer, you don't know it. Only thing you can know is just some angry reviews on Google Play, and you're lucky to get them if the users do it, or just leave your application instantly. With this, you can see the whole exception stack, what just happened, what was the battery, what was the internet connection, what was the type of a phone, and Android API level, anything. A lot of stuff, and I think this would kind of help if you're doing a mobile app. Then there's presence inside. Well, it's kind of complicated. You can see the heat map of people, how they'll move, for instance, in a shop. I don't want to go that much into that. So, I want to very quickly just give you a feeling of Bluemix because it's more about not me talking, but you trying. So I want to just very quickly go through how it looks actually to create an application and how it's fast. So right now I just clicked that I want to create an application before I just logged into Bluemix. So I want to do a mobile backend, so I will click mobile. That will ask me if I'm a Apple person or a normal person. Or it's more like a general. I'm just kind of making fun of it, but anyway. Please don't kill me if you're Apple here. Thank you. So I would go for the general one and creates, and it asks me for the name of the application. This also will be used as a host name. So I chose this one. I can click finish, and approximately, if it's an OJS application, it takes like 40 seconds to have it up and running. I mean, in about a minute tops. It depends how fast it is, but that's just it. That's just it. 4 clicks, and put in a name, waiting a few seconds, and you just have your backend. If you compare it, how would you do it if you would build it on your own? If you're good, you would have it in hours, a day. If you're doing it like me before, it could take you a week. So if you compare the time, is it worth? Is it not? I think it is. Also, this helps to focus on what actually makes the difference. If you're building an application, for instance, you're a startup, you want to have it fast. You want to have this idea built as a prototype. You want to be moving fast. You want to be agile. So with this, you're focusing on what actually makes the difference, and you're just renting the rest. And also, if I'm talking about scaling, so if you have your application, you are that good that a lot of users, thousands, tens of thousands of users will start start going into your application, you're actually able to access the computing power that a few years ago had only the big companies, the big enterprise companies only. Right now, with this, you're able to access it, so you can scale it up as much as you want. Yes, that's pretty much it. So, is there anything I could talk about? Well, there is right now space for you for questions. I kind of ran pretty fast actually through. So, do you have any?
Спасибо большое, Андрей. Похлопаем.